This is going to blow your mind. Bitcoin is on a tear again. From a low of $16,529 at the end of December of 2023, the leading cryptocurrency has skyrocketed back to the 60,000 plus range in March through May of 2024. There's talk again that eventually Bitcoin will replace the US dollar as the leading world currency. That being the case, we began to wonder what Bitcoin must do to replace the dollar as the default world currency. Buying and selling commodities requires dollars. Even since the end of World War II, the US dollar has been the most powerful world currency. It is the currency of the richest nation in the world with the largest economy. It is how most commodities like oil, gold, wheat, cattle, and coffee are priced. In order for a buyer in most world nations who do not produce enough or any of their own oil, gold, wheat, or coffee to buy these things, they need to convert their currency into US dollars. On the world Forex markets, about $6.6 trillion in currency value is traded every day, and 88% of those trades are either to buy or sell US dollars. At current Bitcoin highs, the total value of all Bitcoin in existence is about $2.5 trillion. Bitcoin has a way to go if it is going to replace the greenback in this regard. The dollar is the international reserve currency of choice. Nations all over the world hold US dollar reserves, generally as US treasuries, which are dollar-denominated bonds backed by the US government. Total world dollar reserves come to about $12 trillion in US treasuries, while another $15 trillion in US treasuries are held within the USA. Total US bank deposits run around $30 trillion. Total US farmland is worth about $3 trillion. Total value of all U.S. commercial real estate is about $20 trillion, and the total value of all U.S. residential real estate is about $47 trillion, of which there is about $20 trillion in dollar-denominated residential real estate. Do you know how U.S. laws and regulations stack up against Bitcoin wash trading? Whenever the U.S. faces an economic downturn, one might expect people to sell dollars. But they typically don't, because there are few, if any, good alternatives. The U.S. is a nation of laws. Nobody is going to park their assets in Russian rubles, Chinese yuan, or either Iran's or North Korea's currency, because dear leader can devalue their currency to zero if it suits them. Safe alternatives to the dollar from the legal and regulatory point of view include the euro, Swiss franc, British pound, Canadian and Australian dollars, as well as the Japanese yen. The problem is that none of them has comparable depth of liquidity, with the possible exception of the euro. Contrast this with Bitcoin, its wild price swings, and rampant Bitcoin wash trading that makes trading this market chancy. Another contrast is how the crypto world routinely fights any regulation, while U.S. banks, insurance companies, and others holding large amounts of assets in the U.S. are heavily regulated, which makes people's dollar assets held with them far more secure. Why do foreigners dislike the US dollar as the de facto world currency? When the US experiences inflation, the US Federal Reserve generally increases interest rates. This makes the dollar more valuable on the Forex market because traders can park their money in dollars by converting their local currency to dollars and buying US treasuries. This action effectively sucks money out of that foreign country. Additionally, to keep their currencies pegged more or less to the US dollar, these countries need to raise their own interest rates even when there would be no other reason to do so. This can send a smaller economy into a recession and even destabilize their economy. So the same folks who like the dollar as a reserve currency may hate it depending on actions of the U.S. Federal Reserve. Why are there not more people talking about the full faith and credit of the U.S. government? The U.S. has never defaulted on its debts or dropped its currency to zero and issued a new one. However, the U.S. is addicted to deficit spending. Every year or so now, Congress has to raise the debt ceiling, and the government has, in fact, been in default a couple of times already because of moving money around in the U.S. Treasury and staggering when to pay the bills. Nothing has, as of yet, gone unpaid. However, this is the lone big issue that threatens a permanent dominance of the greenback on the world stage. Everybody is looking for the next big thing in finance. Where does Bitcoin fit into this picture? In the foreseeable future, the maximum number of Bitcoins will have been mined. Until then, one can predict exactly how many will exist. Unlike the yearly circus in the U.S. Congress, Bitcoin will not go into default. In this regard, Bitcoin stands out as a viable alternative to the U.S. dollar. However, in regard to its possible use as a world reserve currency, it pretty much fails every other single test. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button to get more profitable investing tips like this one, and please visit profitableinvestingtips.com.